Oh, mate, it's a bit chilly this week. There's something has changed in the air. It must be Stradbroke season.
Mate, it is. There's a cold front rolling up into Brisbane. And with the cold front comes some ice cold tips. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, yeah, Stradbroke weekend. Looking forward to it. Tricky little card. I think there's some favourites that look very beatable. And we've got black type from start to finish, which is the minimum we deserve.
I wasn't expecting the Q22 to be the last. That
No.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mate.
It looks like an elite quaddie.
Yeah, it does. It does. But before we get into that, I hear you came back from the brink of destruction last week. Do you want to tell us what happened?
Oh, look, I'm not proud of it because I bet in Morphettville. But just to provide some context to the drifters, I was at the track on Saturday, and what was a terrific Super Saturday, you could call it, at Eagle Farm. And I was with a good group of people, and pretty much all of them were having a fill up, and nothing for me seemed to be going my way. I had a couple of winners throughout the day, but they were like, around $2, so they're hardly stemming the flow, right? And I pretty much got to my last bet. I had enough after gambling responsible all day. I had enough in the bank to have one last bet, and one last big bet. Let's be real. And after surveying the form in Adelaide for all of 10 minutes, I liked the look of a thing that was about $8.50 to 1 with the good people at Ned. So I just lobbed it all on that, and it duly saluted by not even half a head. And it was just a classic. Like, I told a few people, I was like, look, I've got one more bet, get on. Everyone got on. Everyone knew that I was suffering that day. And we just saw it come from the clouds to get home in a last-ditch effort. So I finished up. Everyone finished more up than what they already were. And, I felt like a bit of a hero. And it's not often that I feel that way. So, but, amongst all the cheers and the backslapping and the camaraderie and the jubilation, was just that a gnawing in the back of my mind, which was I got out in the last at Morfordville, which goes against everything that I stand for. It goes against everything that this podcast stands for. And so it doesn't feel great, but I'll take it and I'll move on, and I will never speak of it again.
Well, congratulations to you and the good people at UNU Recruitment. It sounded like one of the great days. So,
yeah. Well, I managed to. We sponsored a listed race, and that Billy Healy won. Shout out to him. His first stakes race, I believe, the Queensland Stakes, and managed to bombard that photo, and also was in the winners' room drinking free piss on behalf of the BRC. So, look, it wasn't all rocks and diamonds. It was just good old, horse racing at its best. Being with the winning owners. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah. No, it is what you said. It's what dreams are made of. So, mate, and thank you for joining us from, I guess, your one bedroom, your penthouse apartment this afternoon.
Yes.
It's looking unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I just felt that. Stradbroke Day really is a celebration of this great city. So I thought, have a bit of Brizzy in the background. I don't usually dress like this when I'm doing the podcast, Drifters. So as you can tell, I'm probably still in the office. Shh. But yeah, I like your background. Who could that possibly be?
I was best bet of the day. Drifted out from $4.40 to $8. I'm looking at last year's results. Allegron. So, and he goes around again this weekend, the big fella, and he finds some more suitable ground. Can he turn it around? I'm sure we'll unpack all of that. But, mate, last week was a bloody shit show. I think 6 or 7 of the 10 results were all at double figures. So, Eagle Farm was not a happy hunting ground.
No, it wasn't, and it was a day that was dominated by those up on pace, and typically Eagle Farm, you like to you do see horses run on, and so you can back something that's probably sitting midfield. But the track sort of looked, I don't know how it looked on the telly, but it sort of looked a bit shifty. Even though it was a soft 5, I think it was quite a gluey soft 5, so it was hard for some horses to make ground. And I think there was a lot of horses who didn't quite handle it. So I'm not sure what we'll see this weekend, but I actually quite like seeing horses on the quick backup from a track like that, particularly if it's a drying track. A really tough run the week before can really bring them on for the run a week later. Some won't handle it, but some will. So it's just about being able to find the ones that you like.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. Probably even amplifies Jolly Star's performance, as you kind of highlighted in the preview.
Absolutely.
Basically, like copy and paste of Sunshine in Paris.
Yeah, basically. She was fantastic. Had to make up 7 lengths. J-Mac got her way too far back. It wasn't his best, but from that gate, I guess you can forgive him. And he knew the horse that he had underneath him. Yeah, she was one that stemmed the flow, but I think she jumped at like $2.20 or something like that. So, you can't turn a profit when your winners, your very few winners, are only paying that much. But she was fantastic. And I guess they'll probably take her into the spring looking for an Everest, maybe.
100%. Why wouldn't you? She ran well in it last year, without obviously being in the finish. But many say, she should have got closer. But that's her pattern sometimes. So, all right.
Yeah.
Without any more delay, mate, let's get into it. So let's get into race 1, the Gunsing Classic, 1,600 metres, Group 3 for the 3-year-olds at set weights. I believe last year this race might not even had been run. 2023, this is the race that Radina won at, and then he went on to win an Epsom in the spring as well. So where'd you land here? It's a tricky little race to kick off.
It is. I'm going with J-Mac and Chris Waller on Emirate. I know you mentioned him last week or the week before. Was he in the Fred Best and was obviously scratched from the Fred Best when it was moved to the Doomben Wednesday meeting? On a dry deck, he's short enough now. But look at some of these other horses, and for me, he's the one that's amongst the most lightly raced that seems to have a bit more upside. He's short enough, but he's probably one that I'd like to kick the day off with. What do you reckon?
Yeah, similar. Potentially like Just Party, who has another run under his belt as well, has Hot Nash on. Very similar in prices, drawn probably the better of the two, or definitely better of the two. And then Pisces, I thought, was a bit unlucky in the Fred Best as well. Got held up around a furlong from home. And I feel like this is almost like a D-Day for Pisces. He's always been about 2 or 3 lengths off him, and finally finds some good ground for the first time in 3 or 4 starts. K-Mac on, Shaw, Barrier 2. It's kind of like if he doesn't go out and win, like he could be racing for Bjorn Baker come the springtime. You know what I mean?
He could be running for Bjorn Baker with the Godolphin colours anyway, particularly after the announcement of James Cummings going to train in Hong Kong. But yeah, I agree. He's got Sandpaper. Who else is a recent Godolphin horse that's been moved on? Atmosphere. Allegron. Got those sort of vibes. I think he can win, absolutely. And, to my point, that run 10 days ago, once we get to Saturday, would have been in that Fred Best that was on a heavy. So maybe that brought him right on. He has been up for a while, but he seems to be racing well. So he's probably my second pick after Emirate.
Mm. Oh, mate, I forgot to say as well, mate, I don't know what we pour out given his resume as a sign of respect, but the old fella Schnitzel passed away this afternoon.
Oh, mate, of course. Completely forgot to mention it. I was just literally talking about it just before we started. Valet Schnitzel one of the greatest sires we've ever had in this country. He was a pretty handy racehorse himself, and probably one of the best named horses to be successful in Australia, you would think.
I would have thought so. So maybe, pour out your Schnitzels or your chicken breasts or your Parmigianas, or probably not what he's best known for, which is covering mares. So we won't pour that out. But but yeah,
pour your mares out.
What's your favourite question without notice, but your favourite Schnitzel horse, side horse?
Question without notice. I've got a soft spot for Wild Ruler. He's a son of Snitzel and won the Moya Stakes at a decent price, and I think he was double figures, and I told a lot of people that day to get on him. So, when you get texts pouring in left, right and centre being like, you beauty, makes you feel good. But he's had so many though. What about you?
I know. Oh, mate, it has to be Redzel.
Of course. Of course.
Doomben 10,000 winner, 2-time Everest winner. What else did he win? Won a Darley Sprint. God,
just
he
a good
won
horse.
3 or 4 of the 1,000-metre races at Randwick, whatever that
the
race
Challenge
is.
Stakes or whatever it is. And he's a good horse.
Yeah. Is he number 2 or number 3 in the money earners list, Redzel still? He would be.
God, he'd be close. I think you've got Winks, Bella Nipotina, Nature Strip. Redzel's up there. He'd have to be top 5, you'd think.
Yeah, forgot about Bella Nips. All right. Right, race 2 is the Wayne Wilson, 1,600 metres listed at open weight for age. You typically see the unlucky horse that doesn't make the Stradbroke field come out and absolutely brain him in this race. Recent examples being Yellow Brick last year and Antino, I believe, the year before. Yep.
And I think Transatlantic can continue that trend, absolutely. I was mentioning to someone at work today, this day looks a little bit potentially poisonous with so many short-priced horses. And after last weekend, maybe my fingers are a little bit burnt, but I think Transatlantic can absolutely win. He was great last start, and he's only going to be 4th up here, and I think he'd be relatively competitive in a Stradbroke. So a little bit of a sticky draw, which doesn't help, but I think he can win. I think Pierre as well. He's got great form around War Machine last start. He comes from New Zealand into the, over into Australia from New Zealand and did that sort of first up. So I think he can win too. He's got Ethan Brown on in those silks. He's absolutely a winning combination. So they're the two. You found some value, or you're sticking with the market?
Nah, keep it simple for this equation. I think Transatlantic on the quick backup was pretty impressive, and still had 57 kilos defeating a Desert Lightning who had 61. So slight maybe query there, but Pierre, whatever his name is, with that War Machine form is obviously the threat. I think it might be a game time decision between those two. Could be a little Quinella play, to be honest, which I'm accustomed to. But he did jump from barrier 16 and he jumps from barrier 3 here. So I do like to see that in the form guide as well. If they get if they're coming back from, say, wet ground onto good ground, they're getting a better run in transit, and they also still ran well last time. I feel like that can improve him a couple of lengths, and that might only be what he needs here. But Transatlantic on top from Pierre in this one.
Yeah, fair enough. If I was going to steer you into a roughie, Unspoken's an interesting one. He's first up, having not raced for more than 6 months and been trying well. So he's $17 with Neds if you're looking for a bit of a roughie.
Look at the commentary see the comments on RaceNet. resumes from a 31-week break, has trialled and won since last race 221 days ago. Regarded as a very strong finisher, standout top pick at $17 with the good people at Neds.
God.
Standout top pick.
They're keen.
That's unbelievable.
Standout. Oh, God.
Well, Unspoken started one of the great system plays on Grand Final Day 2 years ago for me, where, didn't watch a single race until after the siren blew, and who was that? Anyway, it was one of the great fill-ups, but also dejected. The Brisbane Cup is race 3, 3,200 metres, Group 2. I love the 2 mile. I love it every single time, and mate, an 11-horse field gets me up and about as well, because I feel like you can definitely still put a line through 3/4 of these, because not all of them will run it out.
No, you can't. Well, sorry, a lot of them won't. I think Allegron can absolutely win. I think he can win, even though he's $26 and back on a drying deck. He wouldn't shock me. He hasn't shown much this prep, but like you said, so many times we get to this 3,200 metres and it's a completely different ball game, and you can really find some value. So I think Allegron can win. I think Mr. Waterville can win as well. Forget about his last start on the heavy deck. Back to a drying track. Certainly suits him. I thought he was fantastic in the Gosford Cup, sort of absolutely bolting home into third. He hasn't shown much in Australia, but gets a lightweight over 3,200 metres, which will suit him. And he's, Chris Waller, classic in these sort of races, just seems to find something at value to run well. So they're the two for me. I'll probably have a small each way bet on both of them. And, if I get beaten by Campbell-Dino at $2.80, okay.
Yeah, no, he's the one you want to take on. Yeah, the dam is out of shocking, so that is notable. But yeah, hasn't. I don't know if it's even raced past 2,400 metres. So that would have to be the concern. But was extremely strong in the Queen Elizabeth last start. So, but I thought I was even looking at Etna Rosso, who was strong there as well, and could improve. And J-Mac takes the ride, who's 2 from 2 on this horse. Honestly, his strike rate for some of these, he just lifts them, doesn't he?
Oh, I love seeing him. Jolly Star is a great example. You love seeing him get on a horse after the last few rides on that horse has been by another jockey. With all due respect to the other jockeys, you just know that he's going to get just that extra bit out of him. He did it on Sunshine in Paris and then on Jolly Star within a matter of weeks. So yeah, big tick.
Yeah. Nick Spur, the other one with Hot Nash, was behind Capaldino and Etna Rosso in the Queen Elizabeth Cup as well. Could improve back onto good ground as well. And then Manzois wasn't horrific in that race either. Got way too far back.
Way too far back.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But I've also thought this twice of Manzois. One particularly in a Sydney Cup where he went like an absolute bastard, and then I think he ran in the Melbourne Cup after that and he didn't run it out. And then Allegron, as you said, it's going to be a tough ask with 59 kilos though.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, we will see. It's one of those will win it. I'm dead against the favourite. The Oxlade Stakes, 1,200 metres listed for the 2-year-olds at set weights. My guy Shaggy's back. Good to see.
Yeah. Really good to see.
Yeah. He didn't quite run out the 1,200 last time. Yeah.
No, I wasn't expecting to see Shaggy here. The lights in here have just dimmed a little bit. Can you still see me?
Yeah, mate. You're looking beautiful.
Yeah, anyway. Oh, thanks, mate. Oh, I didn't expect to see Shaggy here. Didn't even expect to see Damien either, but Damien's found his way into this race. I love that. I was like, there's a Damien. He's in the market too. I found this really, really tricky just because, you've got a few of the Sydney horses coming up and having to throw at the stumps and some Brisbane horses. I don't know, and particularly because the depth for the 2-year-olds at the top has been so thin. When you get away from the JJ, which is the Group 1, and then you get to the the tier 3, tier 4 2-year-olds. It just makes it really hard. So I don't have a strong opinion in this race. But what I will say is that between Kelly Schweida and the Munts boys and a few of the other Brisbane trainers, like, I think they've been disrespected in the market a lot across this carnival, but the results are there. I think like 5 or 6 of the races last week were won by Queensland trainers, and if you go through the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, it's been pretty consistent like that. So I think I'm probably leaning towards taking on the Sydney horses, but there's a stack of Queensland horses to choose from. I've just got to find the one that wins.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I also saw I thought this was near impossible as well, and thought Earn to Burn for Jack Bruce, like, he would win a race like this, Jack Bruce. What's a 2-year-old R? Was this one that you were saying the other day?
Yeah, so I can't remember what it stands for exactly. Maybe if you wanted to do a little Google, if you can. But I'm pretty sure it's a male horse who one or both of their testicles hasn't actually dropped. So I don't think you can geld them, but I don't think you can also classify them as a colt, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I've had a Google and it's not even coming in for me. So, but yeah, I remember you. It's going to come to me. I can't quite remember it off the top of my head.
I only saw it for the first time a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Now you're seeing it everywhere. Yeah, Earn to Burn, 2-length winner at Toowoomba, was 6 lengths off Cool Archie in the Spirit of Boom Classic on the Heavy 8. Didn't quite get through the going there, but suggesting that the soft 5 that he found on at Toowoomba improved, should find good ground this weekend, could improve even more.
Yeah, fair enough. I've just done a quick Google. So a rig, it stands for rig.
Rig, that's right.
A rig is a male horse who has only one testicle, or one testicle has not properly developed. In this instance, the horse is rarely gelded but cannot be described as an entire. And I sent that to you because I saw it in the Anzac Day Stakes.
That's right.
A horse called Stay Cosmic, 2-year-old bay rig. Saw it in the form guide. I was like, what the hell? Well,
at $31, the drifters they've learned something right there. Yep. Back the rig in, easy to burn, Earn to Burn, and you might think, drifters, that this horse might not be a stud prospect. Well, one of our great mates, his old man only has one testicle and he had 3 sons.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's go rig. Maybe let's just jump on the rig. Earn to Burn.
Yeah, Earn to Burn. $31. Hurting no one. Now the Hinkler Handicap, race 5, 1,200 meters listed. Handicap, of course. This was a little bit difficult as well. Need some luck. I think the Source found this horse first up. Defeated City of Lights, who came out and was a next start winner, who might be featuring in the program later on as well. Are you with the Snowden trained galloper, or are you going against?
Yeah, you're right. I found this tough as well. I think I haven't looked at the stats, but I feel like the Archibalds have started to find some form. Annabelle, formerly known as Neesham Archibald. I feel like Manhood was a good winner last start and can do it again. He's $8.50 with Neds, but another tricky race, and that needs some luck. It looks like one of those ones that could potentially be poisonous, but yeah, not particularly strongly against.
Yeah, I feel you. Any love for I Am Unstoppable? I feel like this horse has been around forever.
Yeah, I feel like he was with a different trainer. I'm not sure if he's always been with Kieran Maher.
Yeah, nah, he definitely has. I'll be able to find it for you. Yeah, Lloyd and Kenny Kennywell.
Yeah, there you go. So, sometimes that happens and Kieran Maher can just get a lot of improvement out of them. And he's still got his nuts. I'm unstoppable. So he's
that was September last year, though. And he's had five runs for 2 seconds and 2/3. So not the worst.
That's, and he's $11. So, he gets a nice gate here. And if we find another Eagle Farm that's very pace heavy, then yeah, he could be a shout at that price.
Yeah, first up he was. This is the thing, right? And backers of him would probably be tearing their hair out if he wins this weekend. I've never backed him, right? Ever. But I'm looking through his profile. So he started in his last 2 starts. He started 290 favourite, beaten 6.5 lengths. And then he went down as $1.60 favourite first up. But he was only beaten half a length there, and he carried 60 kilos there too.
Yeah.
It's not too bad in the weights here. I've seen funnier victories, and $11 suggests that, that could potentially be a play for me. Could be a little Quincy need some luck into I Am Unstoppable.
Starting price profile.
All right, the JJ, I need your help here. 1,600 metres Group 1 for the 2-year-olds at set weights. Cool Archie, I believe, is your favourite. Now, unfortunately for the cool one, Archie's not finding a bottomless deck this time, but he did win 3 starts ago on a good deck. So does he just go out and do it again? Is it that simple?
He could. I've got to stick with. I've got a clear bet in this race, and it's mostly because that running theory we have of if you don't back a horse, it'll make you physically ill if it wins, and that's number 2, Grafter Burners. I backed him his last 2 starts, and his first up run, he was the back third of the field and 50,000 wide, no cover, which doesn't help anyone, let alone a 2-year-old colt. And look, I think that run was fantastic, all things considered, and he has a similar sort of situation the next start. So I get it. He gets a nice gate here. Gate 2 should be closer to the speed, and Craig Williams goes on as well. So I'm happy to have a bet on Grafter Burners at $7.50, and I think he'll be a much improved horse from the last 2 starts.
I'm with you, mate. I think if Gallo Nero was here, I'd probably bet on it. But alas, Grafter Burners is here. And I think third up, Ready to Peak. Hidden Achievement with J-Mac, Chris Waller, Yulong, just they're winning everything. $6, no spoil at the price, but only been out to the 1,300. Looks a miler, if not further. So this will suit as a 2-year-old. So I feel like that horse will also be in the finish. Barrier 6 is just like touch yourself sort of stuff. So I think they're the 2. What about Farnacle? Very well named.
Yeah. Great name for Farnacle. He's one again who's been racing super and gets another nice gate. He wouldn't shock me either. So it's a tricky little race, but I'm happy to have a bet on Grafter Burners. Shout out to we've got someone in the office who's in V Creek. So shout out to Michaela from the UNU team. V Creek won at Ipswich last week, and finds himself here in a Group 1. So best of luck. He's named after a famous pub. So
I wonder which one. Yeah.
Give him strength at 71s.
Yeah. All right. Now the Dane Ripper. Typically I feel like it's the last on Stradbroke Day, but they've brought it forward to race 7, which I don't mind. It's a good contest, this one. I see Coco Sun has found herself in Yulong Silks. They're just picking up everything, aren't they?
They really are. They really, really are. This one's an interesting one, mate, because you got Sydney horses who are actually good, who find themselves in this race, and you'd think their best would blow them away. Is it that simple? You've got You got Conasana, Alentia, and Firestorm.
Oh, I think Conasana's a C grader at best, especially on a rock hard Eagle Farm deck, in my opinion. Alentia first up is an absolute bomb, and Firestorm is, you could say, the exact same thing. Like, she went close to winning a Coolmore Classic behind Lady Shenandoah. And City of Lights, what is she? A half sister to the greatest of all time. She could be in the finish here as well. But again, is a local horse. She probably hasn't seen her. We haven't seen the best of her of late, but we've both been fans of Abounding from time to time as well.
Yeah. I had an eye on her, Abounding. She's a horse who just can't draw a gate for mine. I think Abounding, but she loves Eagle Farm and certainly wouldn't shock. I think 1,300 metres is right up her alley. Gummy Gumdrops finds herself here at 91s. She had a stable change from the Price Kent stable to Chris Waller, and I thought she was pretty good first up. But I think she's dual nommed, so I think she's a better chance in the other race that she's in. But yeah, Queensland horses don't stop there at Abounding. You've got Comrade Rosa, Floozy as well, and Elmore Zillow, who I've been a fan of a few runs this prep, and who hasn't had a lot of luck. Again, it was another one of those ones that I think CJ Graham rode her last start, and it wasn't a great ride. But she drew gate 11. She draws gate 15 here, so I'll be a little bit sick if she wins. But I'm thinking either Alentia or Firestorm for mine. Either one of them. Alentia, I don't know if she came up during the autumn in Sydney, so maybe that's maybe a bit of a forgive. But Firestorm is a horse with a lot of talent, so I don't know. One of those two probably for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I just don't want to pull the wrong rein. They're both so good first up, and I don't know. Does it just come down to J-Mac or Tommy Berry? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Because I think they both trial well, but yeah, it will be a game time decision for me. All right, the big one. What it's all named after, the Stradbroke, 1,400 metres, Group 1, best handicap in the country sort of stuff.
Easily.
Is it just that simple? Does War Machine just declare war on the rest of this field and just blow them away?
It could be a situation like a think about it situation where, the obvious is right in front of you and you just have to back it. But I think he's a good horse. I think he's a horse on the up. He's weighted well. The gate's not too shit. Like, it's okay. And Timmy Clark is a great jockey, particularly getting down to 53 kilos. But gee, I think $3.20 is awfully short. I don't think he's that far in front of a few of these horses for mine. What do you reckon? Is it that simple, or are you trying to find some value?
I could find some value. I think Rise at Dawn on the quick backup, dropping from Way for Age to this, is very, very intriguing. He wasn't that far away. Mate, what about the one of the triplets who put a scare up Jolly Star's spine?
The resurgence of Golden Mile. He's been great his last two runs. He's been fantastic.
Well, even
finds himself with 53.5 kilos in gate 2 here. I think he can win.
I think he gets on with the Sunshine State, Golden Mile.
I think he does. And wouldn't it just be so, fitting? The week that James Cummings announces he's going to train in Hong Kong, he gets a little swan song from one of the triplets. Here you go, Daddy. Here's a Stradbroke handicap trophy for you.
So a handicap like this, right, with, I don't know, there's perceived pace and then there's real pace. War Machine's going to be up the arse end. Like, he's going to need to do a power of work. Is there enough pace in this race for him to get the job done?
It on paper is looking like there is a load of pace, but you're right. We've looked at some handicap races over the last 2 years, and on paper you're like, loads of pace, but it's almost like the jockeys know that, so they don't know who's actually going to take up the initiative. But I'm looking at Rothy. I'm looking at, if he does take his place, there's a bit of an injury cloud on him. Front Page, The Instructor, Rise at Dawn, It looks like to me that there's a lot of horses that like to lead or be up in that first third. So I think it's going to be a bit of a battle for the front. I don't think you want to be too far away, and I don't know how the track's going to play, but yeah, I think you want something that's probably going to sit just behind them. In my opinion, you want to be close enough if the pace is a little bit slack, but not too far away.
Yeah, I've kind of had just looking through his profile, he does sit handyish, War Machine. So, yeah, but I've got that run at Mornington in my mind where backed him that day and he just missed, unfortunately. In my mind, and yeah, he's found some handy positions in his last two starts, which have definitely helped. So, but barrier 13 does make it awfully difficult, and he's drawn better in those two races as well. So, yeah, I don't know. In two minds about backing War Machine, but yeah, the ones outside of that, Rise at Dawn is the one I keep coming back to. Just little mini Mr. B. I think he'll also improve on the quick backup, stepping up another 100 metres. He wasn't too bad last weekend, and he drops 6.5 kilos. It just looks like a kind of Lindsay Park special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep. I wouldn't be surprised if the stablemate wins it. Yeah, Rise at Dawn coming out of that Kingston Smith gets a nice gate, so I think he can win. I think I'm probably going to back two horses because the price allows me to, and that's number 14, the Instructor, and number 15, Basusto. Firstly, on the Instructor, he's been racing absolutely superbly this prep. He beat War Machine first up, and they were at equal weights, and he finds a kilo better here. And bit of a sticky draw, but I think he can find his way across, and he's been super tough. Fourth up. And he's fourth up here. I think he'll run well, the Instructor. Basusto, I'm prepared to forgive him off his run on the Fred Best at Doomben. It was an up and in day. He was paddling in the sort of fifth or sixth lane that day. So I'm prepared to forgive. And I think prior to that Fred Best run, he was like $8 or $9 in futures markets for the Stradbroke, and now he's $18 here at the time of recording with the good people at Ned. So again, bit of a tricky draw, but he's got the throbber, Zach Lloyd, on. So I think he can navigate himself from there. But I think he's a horse who probably needs everything to go right for him to win, whereas I think the Instructor can probably take a little bit of bad luck out of the equation. The chances don't stop there, but they're the two I'll be backing. Front page and Far Too Easy. I think a good roughies. Spicy Martini, who won the Fred Best. She's a super lightly raced filly. Cousin Ange goes on from a nice draw, 49.5 kilos. I think she can give this rate a side at $34. Komochi, she wouldn't shock. And Rothfire, the old boy, he ran super in the Doom 10,000. Tricky gate, but he gets J-Mac, and 55.5 kilos is nice and light. So, and Desert Lightning again. So the chances don't stop there. Draw a name out of a hat. But they're the two I'll be backing.
Yeah, okay. I'll be backing Rise at Dawn, and probably a savour of a mistake on War Machine. I think he's prepped up perfectly for this. Beast, is the best bet of the day come in the last with Faulkner Park? Like, is he just going out and spanking these? What do you reckon?
Well, based on his last two runs, behind Antino, what would Antino do if he was in this race to this lot? Like 2,200 metres, I don't think it's a question mark for him. Yeah. So yeah, I think it could really be that straightforward. Particularly when you look at the market and you've got Militarize and Kovalika, the next two, with New Endeavour, the next three, in the betting markets. I think Militarize is 100% improving, and for mine, he's a horse who will be great heading into the spring, but I think he probably wants a bit of a cutout of the ground, Militarize. And Kovalika, like if you want to dive into $5.50 for a horse who hasn't won in God knows, you can have it. I think Faulkner Park's got a bit more class, and we know he loves Eagle Farm, and he gets a nice draw, and Ethan Brown's probably one of the most underrated jockeys in Australia, so... I'm prepared to take the black odds for Faulkner Park here.
Mate, good Quinella horses, Banker's Choice, constantly underrated. missed in the market, I feel. $21 is a big price for a horse that, you know, sure was beaten close to 5 or 6 lengths in the Lord Mayor's Cup, but New Endeavour on wet ground just went to a new level there. I think he's far improved on a good track, and he was 6 weeks between runs there, in between his Mornington Cup win, where,
Yeah.
mate, he's been dominant, like in Victoria, in pretty dog shit races. This is clearly a step up, but he'll probably be leading this field and doing it pretty comfortably. So might get an absolute walk out in front, but give Faulkner Park something to chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think Banker's Choice is a massive price. He's been racing well, but I think Faulkner Park's a nice way to end the day, and hopefully the punters are cheering.
We will be, and we will be there on Saturday, Drifters. So if you want to come and say g'day, I doubt you'll be able to, because we will be in a special little area. But you can maybe just look out for us. We'll be around. We'll be wandering around.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some visits to the yard. That's for sure.
All right, what's the highlight for you? Is it the big one, the Stradbroke?
Yeah, the big one. I just want to. I don't think I've picked a winner in it for, God, like 6 years. So I'm due. I am due.
I hear you.
What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was disappointed. What was it, Sir Dillius? Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah. Didn't turn up in the Q22. I think he would have pulled these pants down, but they're saving him for the Caulfield Cup. Yeah. So he will be my. I think he's whatever he targets. I think he'll win. It was so impressive. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you on Saturday, Drifters. We will, potentially see you next week. We'll see. See you, Drifters, and enjoy the weekend. Let's go get him. Yeah. God bless horse racing.